Welcome to the Royal Blue Podcast, ladies and gentlemen, by the players, for the fans. I'm your host, your best friend, whatever you want to call me, Brian Logan. How the podcast works is it's players only. So the average media blogger or person that's over a team giving insights, you're not going to get none of that on this program, on this show. It's only going to be players and former players. But you guys as fans, we need you guys. We need you guys to subscribe. We need you guys to be a part of this platform like no other. Why? Because you guys are driving all of the topics. 100% of everything that we talk about is going to come from you guys, the fans, because you guys make our world go round. Please subscribe to the Royal Blue Podcast on iTunes, on Stitcher, or your favorite podcasting app to help spark the engagement. Also, follow us on social media. I don't really do this currently, haven't done it in the past, but I will make a vow to you, my fans, to follow you guys back and engage and respond to you as best as I can. So at Twitter, it's at Royal Blue Show, and then every other social media platform that you can think of, Facebook, Instagram, and yes, I'm going here, Pinterest, Real Men Pin Things. Everything else on social media is going to be at the Royal Blue Podcast. So please subscribe and follow us right now. And you guys are going to get a behind the scenes look of the BYU football program. You're not going to get that media speak. We don't want any boring garbage that these players don't want to open up to, that they may be scared that media may take their words or twist it and use it for their own good. Shout out to Bronco Mendenhall for teaching us that. But you won't get that on this platform, on this program. It's for players to come in, have a relaxed, a chill environment, clown, joke around, and for the fans to really hear a new perspective from these players. So stay tuned for more former players. Stay tuned for the opponents' former players, and much, much more engaging content, events, giveaways, hugs, kisses, loves, all the above. I'm excited to fully launch this. So stay tuned, and thanks for listening to episode number 1. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen, fans, kids, children all over the world? Appreciate you guys listening to the first episode of the Royal Blue Podcast. I'm your host, Brian Logan. I have some players with me as well. Guys, go ahead and introduce yourself. Go ahead with Scott, my best friend, brother from another. Let them know when you played, position, all that good stuff.
Yeah, Scott Lefrandt, played at BYU from 2009 to...
Put some bass in your voice, son.
2013.
There we go.
Still boys on played with Brian. Brian was actually in my first religion class.
So wait, really? Were you with me?
Yeah, we took Prolongate Prize. That was your first class, I think, that you took at BYU. So that's where I met you first time.
You must not have went to class, bro. I didn't see you. I remember Riley. I remember Riley Nelson.
Yeah, Riley was in there, and
we just weren't friends yet. Oh wait, I remember.
Yeah,
I remember now. Sorry, too much concussions, bro.
Yeah.
I remember.
I think you were the one that wasn't in class, but
no, I was in the front. You probably couldn't see me because I'm short. But yeah.
But yeah, play with Ross, play with Joe. I guess they can introduce themselves.
That was a nice little intro. Okay, Ross, you can go ahead and introduce yourself. Put some bass in that voice.
Name's Ross Oppo. Played receiver at BYU. Played with Brian Logan. Played with Scott. Played with Joe Sampson. We did our thing.
Got my butt whooped in one-on-ones with Brian Logan.
Never got my butt whooped in one-on-ones. I can pull up film right now. I got my laptop with me.
Jake Heath, bro, would never throw to you. Even on one-on-ones. I'm like, Jake, it's one-on-ones. You got to throw the ball, man. How are we going to get better?
Listen to this guy.
He was like, Ross can't get off. He can't get off you, Brian. I'm like, I'm trying to compete for a starting spot right now. And I just don't want to make myself look bad.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Bring up the film, Ross. So while Ross is doing that, go ahead, Joseph.
All right, man. Joe Sampson, DB,
Hey.
kick returner,
Hey.
2011,
Hey.
2012. Foothill College, freshman year with Brian Logan.
Dirty Birds.
What else?
You still got like 3
We got
games
some more.
left, bro.
I know. We do. We'll
Hey,
get into that
so
later.
Alan, who's the producer of our show, thank you, Alan, for putting this on. He didn't know that we were
Thanks,
cousins. He didn't know we were cousins, man.
I know. A lot of people say, "Are you guys really cousins?"
Yeah. It's
Nah,
not like
that's my fake cousin.
it's not like the Polys, right?
Hey,
where
Ross
like,
got some cousins.
Ross, but how is like the Polys, man, where everybody's your cousin? I never really asked this question to any Poly because I'm like kind of scared of them. They're bigger. I'm not scared of you though, because
No, I know you're scared. It's all good. We're all related somehow. We all came from an island. Down by Australia. I came from a little island called Tonga.
okay.
And so don't get it confused. With
Okay, so is that why everybody's a cousin to you? Because you guys all came from the islands?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, a lot of people say the same thing about black people. Like, you guys are all cousins and whatnot, or you guys always say that. But here, it's different in Utah because everybody instead says it's the Polys. All the Polys are cousins. So I just wanted to get that straight. So I appreciate you, Ross, for giving me, that small little history lesson. That
Of
just
course.
made zero sense.
I always have to say it
So,
straight.
anyway, let's move on to the topic of the day, man. Again, this is something that came up probably 2.5 weeks ago officially. I actually called Joe and Scott first and just talked to them about the idea, and they had loved it. But to really drive this thing, we really wanted the fans to be a part of the conversation. So, I sent this out about an hour earlier, so I am sorry that a lot of people didn't get a chance to vote. This is straight freestyling right now. But there's about 5 questions that we sent out in the survey, so all the fans that have put their vote in, I definitely appreciate it. So the number one question that the fans would like us to talk about is, what do you expect with BYU implementing a new offense-defense scheme under a new coaching staff? So I'm going to go ahead and take one of these pink starbursts, and the mic, I will be out of commission because I don't want fans to hear me smacking. So Joe, guys, go ahead and take it.
Go ahead, Joe. You got it.
As far as what part do we want to start with?
Whatever you want.
Let's
This is
just
the
talk
Royal
about
Blue Podcast. You can do whatever you want, Joe.
We got a new system in general.
Because it's so general, yeah.
From top to bottom, it's new.
So we got new coaches, new schemes.
Well,
Joe,
Joe, let's talk about this, man. Every time that you go to a new system, or you've had a new coach, or just maybe going to the next level from high school to junior college, or junior college to D1. I mean, how is that with you as a player, right? And then you can kind of just put yourself in the shoes as all those players, and then kind of see what the coaches are thinking about, right? Because they don't know these players like Bronco and the staff. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like they everybody's still figuring each other out. You still dating?
Of course.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
The butterflies.
I was gonna say that's the main point is getting a feel for each other as teammates, and then also with the coaching staff involved. That's gonna basically, it's the difference between being good and great is, playing for your teammates, knowing who you're playing with, knowing the scheme as well as possible, being prepared to play.
Unless you don't like your teammate, though.
Yeah, I mean,
What happens when you don't like your teammate?
You act like you like him.
yeah,
Because that's what
Basically.
we were taught.
Who taught you that?
you're
though?
taught to cope, with whatever.
Did your heavenly father teach you that, or did Coach?
Coach told me that.
Did Daddy Coach?
Daddy.
Daddy Coach.
Coach Daddy Bronco told me.
Faja.
Daddy Bronco.
Faja. Faja.
So, Scott, what do you expect, man? What's your expectations? New coaching staff, how they're implementing the offense, the defense.
Well, first, let's give thanks to Coach Mendenhall and his staff and the great job they've done over the years.
True.
I think
I love the coach.
a lot of these guys have.
Oh, what's that? What was that? Okay.
But a lot of these guys have training under, a great coach. That being said, I think the transition is going to be good. If you're going to go compare it to dating, right? When you're first dating a girl, right?
Here we go.
Oh man, rookie mistakes.
You got the butterflies, right? She looked good, and you haven't hit any speed bumps yet, right?
You gotta come
smooth.
You gotta come with the confidence.
And so when you're coming in, yeah, everyone's putting out their best first impression. Everything's smooth sailing. I think that's the phase we're in right now with the team. Everyone's hyped up about the season. No one's fumbled a ball yet. No one's thrown an interception. There's been nothing exposed yet. And so I think that's a good place to be, however, because everyone's thinking positively about this new opportunity. And so there's kind of a new buzz in the air.
So do you expect – so I agree with you 100%. And I kind of expect the opposite of what you just said. Okay. And the reason why is because if we take this thing back to the dating, right? Mm-hmm. Everything is all good in the hood in the beginning of the relationship. You know what I mean? You don't really know that she is leaving, socks everywhere or doesn't put the toothpaste top on the, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you don't know these little things until you guys get married. So it's almost like getting into the actual game, right? You don't really know how these kids are going to perform under the lights, under the true pressure, because
they've never done it.
No, they haven't done it, right? At least under you,
right.
Yeah, together they haven't done it. So I do expect fumbles. I do expect I can't say interceptions because it's my boy Taysom,
right?
But I do expect a lot of issues to happen. And I mean, think about when you are with a team, you're with the staff. It's your third year or your fourth year, whatever the case is. That first game, no matter what, you still got issues to iron out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it doesn't really. I think fans have to understand. These are mistakes that are happening because it's a new scheme and kids got to figure it out, or these are mistakes that are just everyday rust. You know what I'm saying? But Joe Sampson never had any rust. He just came out just big balling, shot callers,
laying the wood on people.
Call me Showtime.
Joe, what?
Showtime.
Give me some of your pregame rituals, man. What you do to get ready for a game, and in particular a first game of the season, because like Scott said, you have the butterflies. You know what I mean? You get a little bit nervous or whatnot. So what did you do, man?
Man, the first step is you got to go to the omelet bar.
What is that?
The omelet bar.
What's the omelet bar?
You know when we got breakfast and then they had the guy on the side that made the omelets? You put
homemade-
whatever you
the
want.
homemade omelet?
You got to get that omelet bar.
Okay.
So,
okay. Yeah. What'd you get?
get the custom?
What'd you get in the omelet bar?
The ham, cheese, spinach,
Okay.
bacon,
mushrooms.
Okay.
Yep, the works.
So that's the first.
That's the first step.
That's the first step. What's
You
step
got to
2?
eat. Then you got to get your mind right. Whatever you like to listen to, you got to put the headphones on.
Tunes.
Yep. You got to get the tunes.
Okay. Then what? What's step 3?
Then you got to step out on the field. You got to visualize basically what's going to happen in that game.
What about the swag, bro? You gotta get the swag.
Oh,
Visualize.
yeah. Oh, yeah. You got to look good. You got to feel good. And then you'll play good.
You know who said that? You know who said that, Ross? Don't
Who
wait.
said that,
You
Ross?
guys don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Let Ross answer.
Did his name start with a D?
Yep.
Yep.
I think his last name was like Sanders or something.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
See, the thing
Something
about
like
it
that.
is Ross tries to study the best, so he can beat the corners. You know what I mean? Like when you get locked up on the line of scrimmage, when you can't get off the line of scrimmage, you know what I'm saying? You gotta do that extra film work.
And Brian forgot to tell you guys, he just woke up, so his brain's still a little cloudy. His recollection of practices kind of.
So there's a difference between concussions and just bad memory and stuff. Anyway, Ross, what did you do for your pregame ritual?
I always had to wake up, and I made my bed was the first thing. I made my bed, made sure the bed was made, even though we were staying in the hotel. The lady,
you are a good man.
The lady would, they'd probably come in and be like, "What's going on here?" I clean the counter because it's the same thing I do at home before I leave. Joe knows before.
He's serious.
Every day I get up, the first thing I do is I have to make the bed.
Everything's in order.
Everything's in order. I know where everything is, and then you know, jump in the shower. You know, got to get my shower, and then I go down. I only eat fruits. That's all I eat is fruits.
You don't go to the omelet bar?
No, I can't.
That's the first step is the omelet bar.
I can't go to the omelet bar.
So you
I
missed
just
that
gotta
one.
eat the fruits.
Okay.
And then
So when you get in the stadium, what do you do? What do you what's going through your mind, man? What are you thinking as a player?
I usually just I'll walk around the stadium just to get a feel for it. You know, try to find any potholes in the grass. If we played in the turf, you know, then I just jog back and forth and, you know, just get a feel for it. But then get any of the quarterbacks out and just catch some balls and visualize myself catching the ball in the game. And then, you know, from there, it was that was it. You know, then we started warming up and the team came out and that was my ritual always.
That's interesting, man. Both of them said the same word, you know, within their story. What about you, Scott?
I would go to the equipment room and look for the water bottles. Then I'll go find the fountain and start filling them. And then go over to Ross, see if he was thirsty.
Come on, stop playing with me, man.
But yeah, let's talk about something else, huh?
Why?
Because
bro, you played the game. As a player, what was your ritual?
to get right for a game,
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I think it starts the night before.
Definitely.
And so for me, it's something that as I kind of prepare to go to sleep, I'm kind of going through some of the plays, what I envision myself doing. And then it's always a good sign when I have a dream about it, and then I wake up and kind of have my mind right, and I go from there. So I was a lot about like I always had to take a shower, even if the game was at night, I would shower in the morning, cool, get ready for the day.
Yeah.
But you know, if the game was at 7, I'm taking a shower like 4:30.
Okay.
And just cleaning up, and then I'll make sure all my gear was like
a real date.
Yeah.
He's about to go on a real
See,
date.
I didn't know we was going into
all
that
my
much
whites
detail.
had to be like spotless whites.
Hold on. What did you say, Joe?
I didn't know we was going in that much detail. If that was the case, I took the shower the night before, and then when I wake up,
Hey, and then
I had
what?
to take the shower right when I woke up too. And then if it was a late game, I had to take another shower
Oh my gosh.
after that.
It's like
But,
I got to deal
I'm
with.
with y'all on the shower
Hey,
part.
you know, Brian asked,
Fans.
man. I didn't want to
I'm with
say,
y'all.
but
Fans, this is what we got to deal with.
Yeah.
So
He asked.
this is what I did, man. I'm trying to remember, and Joe could probably attest to this, especially playing in junior college. So I'm like Scott. I would always take a shower right before, and then I would shave my legs. I would shave my legs, bro, for two reasons. One, ever since I started shaving my legs, I just always had successful games. And the games I didn't shave my legs, I always got like a ball caught on me or something horrible happened. This started like in high school. And so I would get in the shower, shave. Why are you laughing at? What? Don't judge me, Scott. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, dude.
all right, let's talk about
Just because of my pregame
Did you
ritual?
shave up or down, dog?
I don't know. Sideways, slantways.
Whichever way I told him to shave, he had to do it that day.
Shut up, Ross.
Daddy was
Shut
running
up, Ross. I left Ross in the line of scrimmage, so he couldn't even say nothing. Anywho, then what I would do is I get to the stadium, and I think I would just go through the same routine like you guys is, you know, make sure I had a good meal, very light. I would like to be hungry a lot because I knew I would cramp all the time, so I would drink so much pickle juice, so much water, so much Gatorade. So I made sure that I ate light, had a room in my stomach. Then once I got to the stadium, to the locker room, I would lay out my pads, and I would lay out my jersey, and I would have all of my my wristbands, all the swag, the cleats. And I remember, Joe could remember this too. I used to almost get into fights at junior college because people would walk over my stuff, and I'm like, bro, don't be disrespectful. And hit my jersey. It hit my jersey, man.
Somebody clipped his little jersey.
And then that just kind of helped me visualize a little bit more, get out on the field, do some drills. So yeah, man, that's kind of what I did. So I appreciate you guys giving me, you know, that feedback and really going deep into it. And you too, Joe, for your 5 seconds. You know what you what you did.
The pickle juice.
Let's go to the pickle. Okay, let's talk about pickle juice.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot about that.
Let's talk about pickle juice.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, because
So what is pickle juice? What does it do?
Prevents cramps. I
Man.
mean, I could eat a whole jar
But
of
we
pickles,
used to-
and then I
yeah.
drink the juice after I finish the jar of pickles.
So you love pickles.
I love pickles.
So were you a player that cramped a lot?
No, but I drank the pickle juice.
I never
People were cramping,
cramped.
and I'm squirting pickle juice on my head.
Man, I used to have my own bottle of pickle juice. It was like pickle juice, and it was like Brian Logan 7, just because I always cramped. Let's go to the next question that the fans want us to talk about. What are your keys to the game against Arizona? Anybody can ask that question. Nobody specifically.
Should we start with offense or defense?
Whatever you want to do, man.
I think we start with some.
Let's start with the defense, and then we can talk to Ross a little bit about Arizona's scheme and the spread offense and what they do and so what BYU needs to do to have success. Ross, that means it's your turn.
Okay. I didn't know if you wanted me to go first or not.
Go ahead, man.
Well, after watching Arizona's their offense, they run a spread, and it's a true spread. Even their linemen are kind of
yeah. So what does that mean? What does that mean, a true spread? I honestly have never even heard about that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what a true spread is.
I mean,
educate me, Ross.
It's basically what it's saying is a true spread. Like the field is spread all the way out. Like there's a receiver at the top of the numbers. There's a slot, splitting the numbers in the hash. Then you got your linemen that have like 2 yard splits in between them. And then it pretty much just goes across the whole entire field, spreading it out so far.
Joe, did you know this? Why are you on your phone?
I had no idea.
See,
I had no idea what a spread was.
I'm not even gonna talk. I didn't know I invited you. Scott, did you know this? Did you know this?
Yeah. I actually ran a little bit of a spread. In high
Oh,
school,
okay. So I'm gonna talk to. I wish Joe wasn't sitting where he was because we could turn our backs to him. So let's us three have a conversation. So no. But this is. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying, fans, and don't judge me because I am supposed to be an expert and an analyst, but I never knew that, man. That's I didn't know if there was. I know that there's a difference between a true spread or just a spread, or I knew there was variations, but
yeah.
Well, is it true spread the fact that they just stick with that and only that? And so they're a true spread offense, whereas like some people have spread formations that they put in sporadically.
See, I think as a DB, okay, now Joe's back in. See, we can relate now because we don't really look at or understand, those types of things. We just look at the formation. Hey, and Joe, what do we really look at as a corner? Hey, I got 3 my side. I know.
I'm looking at the splits.
What am I doing, right? Yeah.
I'm looking at how many, and I'm looking at the split they have is going to dictate what they can do on the field.
Exactly. All that other stuff, I'm not really too worried about at the time. But so go ahead and continue, Ross, with what you think BYU has to do. And Scott, you can say the same thing. What shuts down the spread? What do you guys when you guys were running the spread? What were some things that were very effective?
I think with Arizona and their spread, first off, they have 15 returning starters, which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. They have shifty receivers. I know they had I think he was number 1 last year. They lost him in the draft. I think his last name was Caleb or first name was Caleb, and he was really good. But they have a lot of good slot type of receivers that can get open in space. And so if you give them space, that's kind of what they want. And for BYU to stop them, they're gonna have to put in I guess their best athletes, whether it's a senior or a freshman.
So if I'm hearing that right, I mean, being able to shut down the spread, really not giving them the opportunity to either be in space or give them the space initially. So if I come up to the line of scrimmage as a DB and I'm in press coverage, I mean, is that going to be in my favor more, or is that worse because if you're in press coverage and you make one move and I'm not there, I mean, I don't really have too much help.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to press these guys because if you don't press them and you give them time to release, they're gonna make a move. They're gonna get open, and once they're in the open field, that's when they're the most dangerous. Mm-hmm. Even the quarterback, what did he finish 14th? he's 14th overall
He's
in school
12th
history
all-time.
with or 12th all time in school history in rushing, and then I think like
dude.
4th or 5th, passing in school history all time. And so I think you cannot give these receivers any space.
See, but
work.
check this out though. So this is what scares me, and I'm gonna bring it back to old school Madden. And I'm gonna say old school because I don't play Madden no more. I don't play video games, but I just remember playing with Michael Vick. And whenever I played against a team or friends that had that pressed their receivers or pressed the corners and had man all the way across the board, and you would just send streaks all the way with all the receivers, and then
run the quarterback.
and then you just run the quarterback, right? So, I mean. Scott, I mean, that makes me nervous. Is that okay? I have this spread, and the only way to defend it is to bring my corners up, which is good because this is what this new the defensive scheme is doing. But if my back is turned, I have an athletic quarterback. I mean, what's the deal?
Well, I mean, granted, you got to give that quarterback respect. He's a dual threat, and in college, that's really I think the best you can have is a dual threat quarterback, and that's why we're so excited to see Taysom play, obviously, and we'll get to that in a minute. But I think if you want to shake up any offense, you got to bring pressure. You got to get guys in, and they got to be penetrating. So if you're gonna, you got to flush to the quarterback a little bit. If you're giving him time, he's a run pass option the whole entire time. So if you're bringing pressure, he's got to throw a quick one, and you also got to be aware that with a spread, they're going to be running combinations. There's going to be high, low, ins, outs, things like that. And so, disguising what we're bringing. Is it sometimes man? Is it sometimes looking like man, but we're going to bail off and bring pressure?
I like that. Alan, I just had this idea, Alan. It's kind of like dating. You know what I mean? To keep the girl on her toes. Sometimes you come in with the flowers. Sometimes you don't. After a nice, beautiful date. Why are you laughing? Smirking, Ross. After a nice, beautiful date, don't send her no text.
Don't text her.
You know what I mean?
Don't text her.
Because then she's like, what's going on? Right? Sorry, Scott. You started it, bro.
Yeah.
You started with it. Joe, so...
If anyone needs help with dating, we do a little dating analysis after the show.
That's right. We'll do a complete audit, complete breakdown of your game, the potential women that are good for you, and even the one that you have your eye on. So hit us up. And we are not joking. We are dead serious about this. Dead serious. Joe, man, so playing against a spread, I'm just going to tell you.
I'm
just going to tell you, Joe, I like playing against spreads, obviously, because I get the action. But I don't like pressing because, I just like having help.
Yeah, it gets dangerous. See, but when I don't know exactly how BYU is running their defense now, but back in 2012 when I had to make every check on every play, I mean, it just makes it a lot easier. It depends on how much communication they have with each other and how much film they study together to know what they want to do in different type of situations and different formations.
That's a great point, man.
I can dictate what they're doing by making a certain check when they come out in certain formations.
Ooh, now we're about to get real. I'm about to put my laptop down because I really want to talk about this. I don't think a lot of
that's the key to the spread is communication, knowing what they're gonna do. You know, you have to study so much film. You have to know what they'll do in these situations, personnel, what type of players you're going against. You have to know what each type of player is capable of.
Down in distance, what their tendencies are.
Down in distance, all of that.
Let's talk about this, man. I appreciate when you said, I like to obviously understand, what they're doing and come up on film study, but more so I like to that allows me to dictate what I want to do, compared to what they want to do.
Exactly.
And I think a lot of fans, you see the defense as just reactive, right? You call the play, and based off of what the offense gives you, you check into the best play that's gonna, help you to succeed. But as players and good players that watch film and understand tendencies and keys, etc., we can say, no, we're about to run. We're about to do this. We're gonna make you do this, based off of X, Y, Z. And so we all know that that's how Bronco ran things. I've heard from even former NFL players that they get to the NFL and it's way easier to understand those defenses in the NFL than it is for Bronco here at college. But talk about, because you played man, so talk about playing man coverage, in a spread, and just some of the differences, your likes, dislikes.
Yeah, like on the outside in the spread, if you're on that corner, you can be stuck on that island. That's really what when I was watching film on Arizona, that's a lot of what they like to do. If they see that outside dude has no help, they're trying to go over his head.
So that's what I've been seeing in camp so far,
Yep.
and the stories that I've been hearing is guys are locked up on the corners, on the receivers, one-on-one in their face, like it's one-on-ones, right? Like the drills. So we can't, from what you're saying, we can't expect some long balls, guys to go deep one-on-ones if they see that.
Yep, definitely. So that's what I saw on those highlights, especially.
I'm even more excited, man, because I just watch the DBs and the receivers anyway. I don't know if you guys do that. If you guys watch a certain position.
That's where most of the magic happens.
I'm not watching much of the alignment, but
That's why it's fun.
I'm just saying, like, you got the overall play. Shut up, Scott. You got the overall play, right? Like, or the screen, and you can just watch it. Or you can literally watch, like, the one-on-one matchups. Like, when I'm watching Ziggy, I'm watching the Lions, I don't care about nothing else. You know what I mean? I'm just watching Ziggy going one-on-one, using his hands, techniques, all that stuff. So, do you guys do the same thing? Do you guys do that, or you just watch the overall play?
For me, as a safety, I don't know. I kind of see everything at once. Like I watch, I kind of still look for the first read. I watch the line, and then I move on to the secondary, see what the receivers are doing after that. I kind of watch it like it's real game film.
My first,
just because I'm so used to it.
My first thing that I want to look at though is it run or pass?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Run pass situation. And then from there, I look at the alignment, and if it looks like it's a passing situation, but they're in a run formation, I'm expecting a play action, and then you can go from there, or vice versa. It's in a spread.
Is this timeout?
It's a run.
Is this
gonna be a draw?
This is why you're watching the game?
Yeah.
Dang.
Come on.
Dang, Scotty. Dude, you should be like an analyst or something.
Maybe
is that
a coach? Maybe
is that what you're trying to do right now on the show? What about you, Ross?
Me, when I watch the game, usually there's certain players that I like watching.
Okay.
And I think for this game, for Arizona, it'll probably be their wide receiver number 10, Samaji Grant, I think.
Samaji.
And then, for our team, obviously, it's going to be fun to watch Taysom play again. It's going to be fun to see Jamal run, and then the defense is going to be crazy.
That's
because
be interesting.
Kalani, he runs the straight man.
Yep.
He's sent DBs from Utah to the league. Like every year that he was sending people to the league, and I remember playing them.
I also heard that they were cheating on their 40 times. I don't know how you look. I just want to say this clear right now. I'm not trying to say any accusations or anything like that. I'm just telling you what I heard. So I heard that they were cheating on their. I heard they were cheating on their 40 times.
They was running 38s.
They were running 38s. I'm like, how do you cheat on your 40? Well, if you move the paint approximately 3 centimeters up, becomes a 39.5-yard dash to the 40.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't think that's realistic. But I'm sorry, Ross, I cut you off.
No, it's
thought
fine.
it was an interesting fact.
But it's cool that he's gonna put our DBs in a man-on-man situation, because I'm used to BYU,
8 yards
running,
off.
playing off,
10.
having help
I
over
had to
the
go
top.
at 11. They made me go at 11.
Running his own. But now you get to see one-on-one matchups. You get to see people get exposed, whether it's offense or defense. It's fun for me as a receiver. It's fun to see it's fun to watch people run routes.
Yeah.
Dang, that was nice. Maybe I could try that. Or it's good to see a corner shut down a receiver. It's fun to watch that matchup. I don't watch too much of the interior play, but
yeah, right.
Usually when there's a game on, there's always players that I want to see. And then for BYU's defense, I think it would be fun. It's going to be fun to see Harvey play at the linebacker position, and then see Kai play at safety, because he had a lot of interceptions last year, and I think he's gonna have another.
Yeah, he looks a little extra beefy.
Yeah,
to me.
yeah.
Both.
Did he get married? Did Kyle get married? Do we know if that we got married?
To the game.
Oh, to the
To the game. To the
Balls
The
game.
last
Balls
to the
life.
game, yes.
Balls like. I mean, I'm just saying, like at Brigham, usually when somebody comes back like just shredded or has pounds or whatever, they got married, and it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense because
Your wife's cooking.
Your wife's cooking for you, all the time. So let's go on to the next one. From a player's perspective, what does it matter to be in a conference invited to the Big 12, or let's just say any conference, right? What does that mean? So, Ross, you played a little bit with us in the Mountain, right? And then you went to Independence.
Yeah.
And same thing with you, Joe. I mean, we all come from other lower divisions, from JC and high school, where we always had that conference to play in. But you guys, how does that? What would that be like? What would that have been like to you guys to get an invite and switch from the Independent to go into a conference?
I think the conference is strong, and it's always good to play against. It's not always necessarily fun to play against the same team, but when the competition is high and new players, 5 these whatever star, whether they're 2-star, 5-star, whatever, good players are always coming into these programs, and it's always fun to be able to play against the top people.
So what you're saying
nation.
is you'd rather stay independent. I'm just playing.
Not really. I mean, if BYU they get into the conference, that would be nice, because they'll get to play these big schools, and then prove people wrong that.
This is my thing. This is my thing, though. As a player, and this may be just because I was in the Mountain West and I played, Colorado State and New Mexico. I love playing Wyoming. That was one of my favorite places to play. Not sleeping and everything, because we didn't have service, but I'm talking about from a fan's perspective. I love their fans because they talked so much trash and it was so funny. Anyway, you talk about playing all these big schools in the Big 12, but I mean, think about like this schedule and next year's schedule. I mean, being able to play UCLA, then going and playing Michigan State, and then Mississippi State, and then going and traveling to all these historic venues. To me, as a player, like you said, Ross, that would be fun. That would be intriguing to me, because I can see how I match up, with different styles and different conferences, different teams. But at the same time, I've always heard that if you lose 1 or 2 games, you're kind of donezo.
Yeah.
Right? And here's the other thing that goes with it is, you're losing 1 or 2 games, but most of these games are away games, because we have to pretty much beg teams to play us. We're not benefiting their conference play. We're not benefiting their route to the playoffs by any means. It's a gamble for them to even play us. And if they lose to BYU, an independent team, who may be somewhere in the top 25 if they're lucky, it's just not worth it. So we're having to schedule games away and at their venues, which puts us at a disadvantage. It's much better to have the home games, and so when you're in a conference, you're switching off every other year. And
dang, Scotty, you got me again.
Well, you also you develop a little bit of kind of a tradition or kind of rivalry with these teams you play, and I think it's a little bit easier to get up for the games. You kind of have bad blood if you lost the year before, or it was a close game, or things like that. Whereas if it's always a crapshoot of who you're playing the next season, there's no real energy or some sort of will to beat this team because they did you dirty last year or whatever.
Right. No, that's true, man. I remember playing Air Force. Dude, that you just brought me back, because I remember playing Air Force the last 2 years, or I say the only 2 years I played, and their corners were like 5'7", 5'8", both of them, and they were always first team. And so I was like, part of me was like, man, I want to be just like them when I grow up. But then the other part was like, I'm competing against them. You know what I mean? I'm short corner just like them. So it was always fun. I always got up. I got extra hyped to play against Air Force, because I'm like, this is my rival. This is my rivalry. They're only 2 inches taller than me.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with what you guys were saying. And when you are, part of, like, say the Big 12, you're playing for something. You kind of have something to play for. And I feel like sometimes the players, when we went independent, it was kind of like, okay, this is cool, ESPN, but like what kind of like
What are we doing with our lives?
You know, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
what
Like,
bowl
if
is
we
this?
win,
It's a
you
long
know,
haul.
if we win this, if we win the division, are we gonna get a ring, or are we, what's gonna happen? And I think that thought runs through a lot of players' heads. And I know when people are getting recruited, sometimes that has something to do with it, and it could work for the better or for the worse.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that affected you guys? I mean, when you guys have that loss, I mean, because there was times, man, I look back over the last 5 years, I'm like, what are you guys doing, man? Like, we weren't taught this way. I wasn't, I'd never seen this, but some of my players that I played with, they thought, well, because they're independent and you lose 1 or 2 games, maybe even 3, you're kind of out of it. Whereas in a conference situation, you lose 2-3 and potentially you're still right in it.
For something.
Do you guys feel that in the locker room? Have you felt that?
I remember, when we were independent, and if you lost 1, I mean, the whole locker room's deflated.
See, yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we were trying to go
deflated.
undefeated. We knew that if we had one loss, it's over.
And so,
basically, or
and it's
you only have a designated bowl game that's already been determined before the season. If you lose,
So you got to
So,
go.
You already
it's-
know where you're gonna
you're
be.
going to the national championship, or you're
you're
going
going
to.
Dang.
So
I mean, I knew that, but I never really like.
Yep.
I don't think I never really thought of it as that perspective.
Like, it literally deflated. The energy,
Yeah.
the hype before the game, and then if you come out with an L, it's done.
So let's say you guys win 4 games, you come out and then you lose the 5th one. The whole practice is different.
Oh,
How are the coaches though?
Man, it's like they almost are getting ready for the next season. They start putting in younger guys. They're already on to the next, because what's there to play for?
Oh man, yeah.
And so, the transition happens a lot quicker in the season than it would have had you been winning out.
Dang, dude, this is good.
True.
This is good stuff. This is good.
But
good.
I think the thing about being in a conference is who you have to beat.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if we beat this team, we can make it to the conference championship.
Right.
You know these certain things, and so you know which games you got to win. And then not only that, when they're doing rankings, they kind of are able to actually project like how strong your team really is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always thought that we were underrated as BYU, just because we played so many random teams. They didn't really know how to judge us.
Yeah.
Whereas if you say you're a Big 12 team and you went 8-4, you know exactly what type of team that was.
Yep.
Yeah, well, too. I mean, you still even get ranked within the conference. You know what I mean? So you'll see stats with like Arizona or UCLA or whatever, and even if they're not ranked in the top 25, it's they're 8th in the Pac-12. So you have some type of metric that you can go off.
And then
of.
also players.
Yep, players.
Players statistically are leading their conference and first team all conference, second team all conference. So there's things to play for there as well.
Good stuff, man. It's crazy, dude. Just being around you guys, and I mean, guys that have really are more recently removed than me. I'm an old bum, and being an analyst, I kind of have to have this mindset of these numbers and the kind of just everything about how I carry myself is kind of geared toward that. Obviously it's my career. It's what puts diapers on my baby's butts. But coming back, I appreciate you guys because having these conversations with you guys that are so fresh from it. I forget it, and it makes me like I got butterflies. Not because I'm looking at your handsome face, Scott, but I'm getting goosebumps talking to you guys. I'm just you're making me feel like a kid again. Like I'm a player again. So I appreciate
I'm
it.
ready to put the pads on.
You ready to go, Joseph?
Yeah.
You still got 3 games, man. You gotta
Cool,
get that.
man.
Gotta get that figured out some way, shape or how. So let's wrap it up with this. This is one of the other fans' questions. Is the captains? Selecting captains. What's that like? What's it like being voted a captain if you were, or what's it like kind of choosing your captains? What do you guys go through when you're making those decisions?
Were any of you guys captains?
I wasn't-
personally,
I wasn't. I was gonna say this. I wasn't a captain at BYU, but everywhere else I was a captain.
I just want to say this. Now, there's a lot of there's different ways you can look at a captain. I was always a guy that the ballers would come talk to and ask how to do something.
Right.
Yeah.
And then there's the coach-appointed captains who usually
are locker room leaders.
are usually are a certain type of person, but people don't follow them.
Alan, I don't know if I don't know what I mean. Oh no, keep going. All right, he said keep it going. Go ahead, Joe. Preach.
You know what I mean? So I think a real captain is someone that the players look up to, who, you know, they go and ask for advice or whatever it may be, which is usually voted by players.
Yeah. So
when it's a coach-appointed captain, it's usually a different way. It's just a different setup.
So why do you think that there are the coaches aren't really going and listening to the players, and they're having their own captains that they choose? You think it's just because they don't like you or something?
Well, I think they go with both.
Okay.
Because sometimes you got, you know, a Wani Yunga, who's an all-star player.
Yep.
But he's maybe not best friends with Coach Mendenhall, and he's not going to be whispering in Coach Mendenhall's ear on what's going on with everybody.
Right.
So, but is Wani there for his teammates in a different respect? Absolutely. Yeah. And so I think as a coach, they strategically maybe get a guy that can say, hey, what's the overall emotion of the team right now? Who's struggling with what? And they get people that can do that.
A snitch.
A snitch. Yeah. And the tough thing is, as a coach, they think that might be good. But as players, we all kind of know who that is.
Yeah.
Right.
And so you never get too personal. It's always a surface level
Well, that's what I mean, man. That's why I said
there are some captains that don't get any respect,
Scott, how
for
are you
sure.
doing today?
There's always going to be that, you know, someone on the team like that.
No, that's why I said that. No, you're right, dude. It's like,
that's true.
like, hey, Brian, how you doing? I didn't do it, man. I didn't do it.
I'm good.
I was at home. I'm married now. See my ring? But no, I feel like, I mean, if I'm a coach, I think the hard. Okay, let me back up Bronco, because I love him, and let me back up just all coaches in general. If I'm a coach and I see somebody that is like for the players, right? The players look up to him, they respect him, you know. But let's say that he doesn't do or fit the mold of the program. Let's say, and I'm talking outside of BYU. I'm not. This is every team has an honor code. Every team has a mission statement, a philosophy.
Team rules,
you know, all that. So if he doesn't fit that mold, I mean, as a coach, what am I supposed to do, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think. I don't know. I was just watching Hard Knocks, and they're doing the little LA Rams, and you know, one of the players, you know, on contract, getting paid. They had a strict rule, you know, no visitors, period. And he had a girl stop by, I think at like 9 at night. Not even like a late night visit. She didn't stay longer than maybe 5-10 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I think it's Coach Fisher is the coach. He brought him in and said, "We've decided to let you go."
Ooh.
Done. And the thing is that's what needs to be instilled. You're either all in or you're all out.
Right. And
that's the only way to function at a high rate as a team. Mm-hmm. Everyone's got to be bought in 100 or you're out.
Okay.
And otherwise, there's going to be just gaps that won't be filled. There'll be mistakes, miscommunication. You know, there's distractions. That can't happen for a team to be a championship caliber team. You know, you go look at Nick Saban. Those guys, they listen to that guy.
Yeah, that's a good.
He's
point,
running
man.
a tight ship.
That's a great point.
And they look at football as a tremendous blessing and opportunity for them, and so they're willing to live by the rules and do so. So the second you start thinking you're better than the team or bigger than it, you know, it might catch up to you, but more importantly, it's going to catch up to the team.
So you usually have 4 captains, right? Would it be strategic? This may be goofy, but would it be strategic to put a snitch player, you know, 2-on-2, maybe on offense, one snitch on offense, one. So that's bad. I shouldn't say that.
I don't know if you would necessarily call him a snitch, but in my past experiences, the captains have always been responsible people on the team. Yeah. You know, if you don't know what time a meeting is, or you don't know where the receivers are meeting, yep. you know, you can always text that captain and he'll be like, yep, we're here at this certain time. But there also, I think anybody on the team can be a captain.
Yeah.
There, you know,
True.
you don't have to be out there yelling at people, but you know, when you make plays and you know you're balling out, I think, you know, you're kind of like a captain. Like for example, one of my, you know, my best friends, Cody, he was never a captain, but
Cody Hoffman.
He was never a captain, but he was kind of a captain.
He was a leader.
To us. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
he was a leader, and you know, you, like I said, you don't have to be out there yelling at your guys and doing this, but you know, if you're not a selected captain, I think that you could still be a leader and maybe, you know, even
Probably
your
more.
own captain.
Yeah.
But I think the captains are usually responsible guys that are always on top of things, and you know, the coaches trust them, and that's why.
Look, I got a question.
That's
I got a
why.
good question.
Okay.
Okay. So, would you respect somebody more as a captain, based off of their performance on the field, or
Yes.
their performance? Ian, let me finish, Joseph. Or their performance off the field. Go ahead, Joe.
If it's a football team and we're playing football, everything has to be relevant, man. If you're gonna look up to the ballers, the leaders on the field.
Yeah.
Everybody. I mean, I think everyone would agree with that.
So-
just in general in football, you're gonna follow a baller. You're not gonna follow so and so just because he was appointed a captain if he can't play ball.
Yeah.
You know.
Now,
So-
what if most of the time, right? And I've never seen this happen ever. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen a non-starter as a captain. You know what I mean? I know occasionally sometimes coaches will do like a rotation, like in high school and stuff. Like they may rotate people that go out on the field for like the coin toss, but that doesn't mean that they're necessarily the captain. And so if you have a guy that is like Cody, right, that just, you know, broke records, balled out. When it's 2 minutes left, he's like, "Throw me the ball, man!
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to go up and get it." Compared to maybe let's say that defensive lineman that's a captain, but only has like 2 sacks all year. Like how do you feel about that?
See, that's a tricky one because a lot of people don't know, like, a D tackle's job.
Mm-hmm.
So someone like Romney Fuga,
Yeah.
who he always did his job. That's
Yeah.
why, you know, he had a shot with the Broncos. Someone like that, he did his job every play.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people looked up to him.
And even though he may not have his stats may not have been eye popping, right?
Yeah, like
But-
the normal person might not notice the impact he has, but he had a really tremendous impact on our defense because he played 2 gaps, you know. So it just depends on who it is, who's looking at it from the outside in.
Interesting, man. Interesting. Well, I appreciate you guys taking your time out of your days and your busy schedule to come down here and do this for free because I got $0. Same with you, Alan, for supporting this, man, and letting us use your equipment. You know, we definitely appreciate you. Friends, if you guys are wanting, you know, any type of information on just the equipment or the stuff that Alan and his company does, you know, please feel free to hit us up. And yeah, man, more to come. This is gonna be kind of just like this, you know,
Day one.
just
Yeah, we just getting started, man.
just chilling. And I love Alan. I love your idea, man, about the BYU man cave. You know, I said it on ESPN 960.
Oh,
and
we
I
got to
think
get the man cave.
the man cave, bro. So imagine like where we're at right now, right?
man
With chairs and I mean on like times 10, where we have TVs and all that, and we can have players come in, we can have food, and we kind of just chill. So I mean that was Alan's idea, and you clapping? He's like, I can't.
Let's go.
I can't
Let's
wait.
go.
I can't wait. So you know, please fans, please subscribe to the podcast. I'm not gonna solicit your email or anything like that. I'm a full-time marketer. Work at Foxtel Marketing, so I understand the sensitivity of it. It's really for you guys to vote on the topics and the discussions. Everything that we do is because of you guys, and it's going to be driven by you guys. So please go ahead and subscribe. I'm going to be a little bit more formal as this thing takes off, and only send out questionnaires and surveys and polls to the subscribers. So yeah, that's the benefit that you get. So again, appreciate you guys for listening. Episode number 1 wrapped up in the books, and don't know what number 2 is coming,
Thank you,
but
fans.
just stay tuned.
Thank you.
It's a wrap.
And he needs milk.